What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another early signing day video brought to you guys by CampusToCanton.com. I am Matt Bruning, your biggest Buckeye fan over here at the website, and I can't wait to talk about a Buckeye player. But before we get into that, Campus to Canton, we have got you covered on all of these players on the early signing day and through the weekend. Continue to check out the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so that you are notified when any of these videos go live. We've got a ton more coming as these players continue to sign with their schools of their future. And as you can see here on the screen, I have the privilege to talk about the Ohio State Buckeyes' newest top-tier wide receiver recruit, Caleb Burton. Burton is from Austin, Texas, but he transferred to play for Lake Travis High School, where the one, the only Garrett Wilson also went to high school. I'm excited to talk to you guys a little bit about Burton. Don't want to say he's the next Garrett Wilson, but they did play the same high school together. For the rankings, as you can see on the side here, 24/7 Sports has him at wide receiver 6 and 52nd national player. In the composite, he has wide receiver 9 as the 68th national player. Rivals has him at wide receiver 13, 75th national player. ESPN wide receiver 12, 104th national player. And then On3 has him as wide receiver 25, 183 national. I think a lot of that goes to the injury, which we'll dive more into here in a minute. Obviously, C2C, we're very high on him. We have him at wide receiver 4. I personally have him at wide receiver 3 in my overall rankings, just behind teammate Keon Graves and wide receiver DJ Allen. I mentioned the knee injury. Very early on in this process, Burton was one of the highest ranked players. He started out back in 2019 with a 97 rating and the 51st player nationally. He jumped up to 11 and 10, 15, right around that area in early 2020 with a 99 rating, then dropped into the 30s, and then his big drop came when he suffered a season-ending knee injury his junior year. He missed the entire season, dropped into the 40s, 50s, 60s. Now, he was able to come back this year and ended up with 49 catches for 845 yards and 15 touchdowns, which is not bad. It was very important for me to see him come back and play well because it was a very serious knee injury from what we're told. I don't know what it was. A lot of these high schools, they don't have to discuss that stuff just like college. It's not the NFL where NFL has to share a lot of that information because of betting purposes. College does not, but he's still been very productive in high school. In 2019, 882 yards on 51 receptions and 12 touchdowns. In 2018, 609 yards on 32 catches for 6 touchdowns. So realistically, he has put up a ton of yards, over 2,000 yards receiving. And my goodness, 18 plus 15, add that up quickly in your head. That's 33 receiving touchdowns in 3 years. So he's been very good in his 3 years in high school. And I think a lot of the reason that he's dropped is definitely because of that knee injury. But what is it that Burton can do that I like, right? He can play outside or in the slot, which is great, especially when you go to Ohio State because they love to move those guys everywhere. Look at what they did with Garrett Wilson. I mean, dude spent an entire year in the slot, then they move him back outside this year, completely blows up. JSN, moved him all over the place. Burton can do the same thing. He can play outside. He can play in the slot. His top attributes are his breakaway speed and his catch and run ability. From what I've seen on the tape for his senior year, that has not changed with the knee injury, which is huge. That is great. You love to see that the knee injury didn't really slow him down and any of those things. He gets off the line quickly and is really able to get past his cornerbacks when it comes to getting down the field, as I mentioned, with that top end speed. He's very impressive with his burst, and he has pretty good acceleration as well. He's very, very good in yak situations. When you get the ball in his hand, this kid can do a ton after the catch. It's very exciting to watch. I'm not comparing him to JSN, but think about what JSN was able to do this year for that Ohio State Buckeyes offense. You get that ball in that screen pass, dude takes it 70 yards to the house. We might see Caleb Burton doing that for the Buckeyes in the next couple seasons. He's also not afraid to meet the ball at the high point, and he's got very good body control. So overall, I think he's a very good wide receiver. Remember this, before the injury, he was wide receiver 1 to 2 in all of these recruiting services, and he's dropped down to around wide receiver 15 or 9 in the composite because of that injury. But yet he showed when he came back this year that it wasn't affecting him that much. So I expect him to really kind of shoot up. Now, he will be joining an already loaded room with JSN, Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Egbuka, Julian Fleming, and likely being the starters in some sort of fashion in 2022. Then you mix in Jalen Ballard and his 2022 recruiting classmates, Koji Antwi, Keon Graves, Caleb Brown, and now Burton. That is a loaded wide receiver room that we have seen from the Buckeyes here the past couple seasons as well. Burton, I do believe, has the highest ceiling of the bunch, though. He comes in highly in my rankings with Grays. I think both are polished wide receivers and players. I think we likely don't see Burton really on the field, though, in 2023. If he doesn't transfer, which is always a possibility nowadays, he has a chance to be one of the best wide receivers of this class, and I think a first-round NFL draft pick. With the tutelage from Brian Hartline, I believe he can refine Burton's game even more. Hopefully, we get to see flashes of him, though, in 2022, but expect to see more of him in 2023 and possibly explode on from there. As for drafts, it's likely he's going to be a second-round pick in freshman supplemental drafts. That would be my guess, at least for where I have him ranked. That's where I would take him. But I haven't seen him go before the 20th in any startups, which I think is a huge mistake. I think a lot of that may be because he's getting discounted because of the knee injury. He's kind of slipped down in a lot of the recruiting sites. Don't let him slip past you because Caleb Burton has a chance to be truly special. And remember this video. When he ends up blowing up in 2023, he's going to be a very special player, very special wide receiver. Draft him in your startups, and if you can get him late in the second round of your freshman supplemental drafts, do it. He may not do much in 2022, but in 2023, when he blows up, you are going to enjoy having him on your roster. Guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. We've got a ton of other early signing day videos dropping again. Remember, subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon so that you are notified when all these videos drop, including January. Very soon, we will have full freshman profile videos on a ton of these guys. We're continuing to work through this freshman class at campus2canton.com. Guys, enjoy the rest of early signing day and enjoy the week.